We Are ND Nation Podcast, a new era of Irish football with your host, me, Evan J. Thomas, and my new co-host, Dennis Stover, as we will bring you special guests throughout the season. We will go deep with your Irish football coverage in a way that you haven't seen or heard before. Dennis and Evan are just two best friends, lifelong Irish fans, bringing you the best Notre Dame football coverage, analysis, and our opinions on a weekly basis. You can watch or listen to the We Are ND Nation podcast on YouTube every Friday during the season on wearendnation.com. Follow us on the socials. We are ND Nation. Go Irish. Welcome to the We Are ND Nation podcast. I am Evan J. Thomas, and with me always is Dennis Stover. And on today's show, we'll be wrapping up the Irish 2022 season. We'll be talking about new quarterback Sam Hartman coming here from Wake Forest, the transfer portal, what to expect in 2023, our top three games of this past season. But as I always do whenever we have a guest, I'm going to start off by introducing our special guest. He is former Notre Dame linebacker, played from 1995 to 1998, drafted in the 7th round, number 234 for the San Francisco 49ers, played 4 seasons with the Carolina Panthers. Welcome to the We Are ND Nation podcast, Cory Minor.
What's up, guys? I appreciate the intro.
I banged that one out pretty well.
You did.
That was really good.
Great job. I love it.
How you doing? What's new in your life now?
I am well, man. All is great in my life. I think every day is a day to get better, right? That's all we can do. And if I can shed some light, some love, some inspiration on the world, that's my job and goal. And I have a beautiful family that I wake up to every single morning. So I'm blessed and thankful. But that's it, man. Everything is well for me. No complaints.
And what have you been doing with yourself the last few years? Obviously, it's been 25 years since you graduated.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
Coaching recently, no?
Yeah. So I've been coached for the last 6 years. I just stopped doing that just a few months ago. I own some companies. I do that. I love the business side of things. I love create wealth and I say get my Jeff Bezos money on. And love to travel and be the family, man. That's really about it, man. And so no complaints. God has been good, and I thank Him for every day waking me up every morning. And here we are, man. No complaints at all.
So you played in an era 95 to 98. So I
Yes.
didn't have this on the rundown, but I want to ask what were your favorite memories just playing at Notre Dame?
Oh man. First off, listen. I think you talk about the places on campus, right? The Golden Dome, right? Touchdown Jesus, the stadium, the lakes, right? The grotto. There's no place like it. I tell people all the time, listen, you can be a Notre Dame fan, you cannot be a fan, but you have to come on campus one day and see it because there's nothing like it. So first and foremost, those pieces right there. And then listen, I had Lou Holtz, right? And that's it's like being in a Rolls Royce of coaching, right? He's a phenomenal man. And what he taught me, his values, so many things in my life today are because of that man. And I owe that man tremendously. When he came to my home and spoke to my mom and said, Kim, I promise you I will take care of your son. He will graduate. He'll be a better man. He'll be a better Christian. And darn sure he promised that. And it was true. And so for me, those were some fun years. I played with some phenomenal athletes, but more importantly, better men. And that time for me was heaven, because at 6 years old, I had that dream. I wanted to go to Notre Dame. Single mom, not much money. It was my dream, my goal, my wish. I was going to make it happen. I found a way to happen, grace of God. But it was absolutely a phenomenal time for me at Notre Dame. Between that time, I loved it.
That's awesome. Did you have a favorite
Thank
game?
You.
You really can't tap a favorite game.
No, I got one. I got one.
Dennis, you might know which game it is, Dennis.
I was going to say maybe the SC game, or was that 99?
SC was always great for me because I'm from there. But actually, it was my sophomore year against Ohio State at Notre Dame. Now, mind you, I've never beat Ohio State. Never beat Ohio State.
Yep.
In my time. But it was my sophomore year. I was on a blitz. They had a quarterback named Stanley Jackson, and he did a boot. And he booted out right into the blitz. And I took him by his neck and threw him down. It's phenomenal play, right? Loved it. Literally, about 3 seconds later, the student body goes, Cory Minor. Cory Minor.
That's awesome.
And then from there, the whole stadium did it. and I thought I had died and gone to heaven. Like literally, I was like, wow. That to me, I will never forget that moment ever.
That was a John Cooper team. Eddie George was on that team, wasn't he?
Yeah,
yeah.
But he was gone. He was gone.
He was already gone. Okay.
He was gone. He was gone. That's when they had Andy Katzenmoyer, the middle linebacker.
Right.
Yeah. Good program. That time, that play, that moment will be forever instilled in me because I was just so enamored and so in awe that people would say my name like that.
It's
Truly blessed.
So, especially as a sophomore.
Yes, exactly.
How was it? You were recruited by Holtz and you played his final year, 95. And I'm not sure. That was your sophomore year was 95, correct?
96.
96. Okay. So you were on campus in 94 or
95. So 95.
Okay.
96,
So 90.
Yeah.
So and then how was that then the transition from Holtz to Davie, and were you let down a little bit?
I'm gonna speak freely because I can do it now, 20-some years away, right? It was rough.
I bet, yeah.
It was rough. The transition was rough because, again, I said before, Lou Holtz is like a Rolls Royce.
Right.
Where do you go from there?
Right, exactly.
You know what I mean? And listen, as I've learned as I gotten older, Davie had to take that job because you get an offer Notre Dame job, you're not gonna say no to it.
Of course.
Right? Way over his head, and he would tell you to this day.
Agreed.
But you're not gonna say no to it.
Right.
You're going to take it. And so I appreciate him for that. But I was a Lou Holtz kid. Like the reason why I went there was academics first and then Coach Holtz. Yep. Right. And so that was me and most of my classes. My classes are on the Zoom, they'll tell you the same thing. So he was just a different guy.
Right.
And I'm not sure he understood Notre Dame like Lou Holtz understands Notre Dame.
Mm-hmm. So you went from a Rolls Royce to a Pinto.
You said it. I didn't say it, Evan. You said it.
Hey, we can say it. We can say it.
I'm saying it. I didn't say it.
We could say it. And then one more. How was it? Because Urban Meyer was obviously offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
At the time, and so now obviously he seems to have. I don't know what happened to him, but I wonder how was it being, I guess, on the sideline with him or being was he? Did he seem like he would have been a good coach after Davie when we were? Yeah.
Sure. I didn't deal a lot with him because he was an offensive guy, but
receivers
that did. I mean, but by interaction, great guy. Like loved the game, enthusiasm. You can tell he's a players coach, loved his players. So you knew he had the pedigree. You just know he's going to be what he was. Phenomenal coach down in Florida, and of course in Ohio State. But yeah, you can see some things there for sure.
Even at Utah, Alex Smith.
No, you're exactly right.
They were amazing there, and it's he didn't go to Notre Dame. He went to Utah after Bowling Green. But it's always that thing because I always remember, obviously, and then I was in the Army and stuff. Then I just had all the time in the world to watch it. It was a big deal, the transition, and the dream was obviously to get Urban Meyer, but that never panned out. But
sure. No, he definitely had all the intangibles, and I can see why. He has been so successful coaching for sure.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I got to go back to that play that you lit up the Stanley Jackson on. Okay, would you have been kicked out of the game in nowadays football?
Good question.
No, because I didn't hit him in the helmet. I kind of grabbed up here. So I got here and took him down, but I didn't face mask. I didn't hit him in the helmet with my helmet. It was more so came on the corner and he booted out to me, and I just wrapped around his top of his under his chin and took him down. So I think I'll still be in the game.
Because nowadays it's got to be hard as hell for defenders just to tackle because you don't know what they're going to call, what they're not going to call.
So I got to tell you a funny story about that. My wife and I were just talking about it a few days ago. So I was kicked out of a preseason game against Denver Broncos when I was on the 49ers. So I was drafted by Niners first.
Preseason.
Right? And it was last preseason game we played against Denver. And I was guarding the tight end on a pass play. And he went out. And I guess I hit him late. And they kicked me out of the game for that.
Wow.
Kid you not. 99.
Wow.
Was it even a illegal hit, or did they just say, you're a rookie?
No, just said it was late. Which like what? Okay, so it was late. So give me 15 and I stay in the game. Why am I out of the game? But yeah, I remember going to the locker room, calling my girlfriend at the time. She was like, why are you calling me? I'm like, I'm kicked out of the game.
Were you on the 49ers team with Bryant Young then?
Yes, I was BY.
Nice. Yeah,
Yep.
that's awesome.
Yep. BY. I was there, of course, with the great Steve Young, Jerry
Yep.
Rice, all those guys. Yeah, it was
Nice.
good times.
Wow.
Yeah, good times.
Nice.
Good times.
Some Hall of
For
Famers
sure.
upon Hall
Yeah,
of
for
Famers
sure.
on
Good
that.
times. Good times.
All right,
For
so
sure.
we got you on the show. Obviously, we're
Okay, talk to me.
Football as well. So
Yep.
obviously, the last game we played was against the South Carolina Gamecocks. Beat them 45-38. After that, we lost Drew Pine. We got Sam Hartman. The whole NIL transfer portal thing has gone on. How did you see how this season progressed from the beginning to the end? What did you like and what did you dislike about how things went?
Listen, I think anytime you have a new coach, it's going to be some rough patches, right? That's just normal, right? And for them to have the affinity they have for him, the love they have for coach, and him to keep going, right? Even when things looked dim, he kept having them believe, kept having them work, back to the basics, back to work, back to the grind, execution. Those are important. You got to have that, right? Listen, this past season for me started out with my team. We went 0-6. Two of our best players were out most of the season. Turned it around and made the quarterfinals and lost in the quarterfinals. So we ended up turning it around, right? But at the end of the day, in college football, I think you need two things. You need a coach, number one, who believes in his players. Number two, you need players that believe in your coach. When you have that chemistry, I think you can get through anything, right? It's no different from Lou Holtz, right? Lou Holtz believes in us. We believe in him, first and foremost. I believe also, too, I think Tommy Rees came into his own. I will say that, right? I know you got a lot of crazy. You look online, people blasting this. Tommy, you suck, do that. I enjoy Tommy. I like Tommy. I thought there were times when he opened up the playbook and I was like, boom, that's us. Like, that's it. And then you're like, Tommy, what's happening? Right? But that's football. That's Bill Belichick. That's anybody, right? It's not just Tommy, it's anybody. It's football.
That's Andy Reid all the time.
That's Andy Reid, correct? Right? It's anybody, right? And so, especially as someone who played the game before, I understand it. I just love, honestly, I love how they fought all year and they stayed together. When they could have drifted apart, things weren't right.
Yeah, he could have lost that team easily.
They could have lost the team easy,
game,
right? You're exactly
game,
right.
Yeah.
You're exactly right. But they stayed together. They had belief. They bought it. Listen, my second year in the NFL, we went down and beat Randy Moss and Chris Carter in the Metrodome, right?
Oh.
And then we lost the next 15 games in a row. We lost 15 in a row.
That's right.
So
Carolina.
Yeah, Carolina. So I've been there, right?
Wow.
But again, we had leadership that kept us going, right? And so, listen, I thought Freeman did a phenomenal job building leaders, and those leaders stepping up and in crucial times responding and pulling things out. It's never gonna be pretty. Or listen. I mean, everybody loves Georgia's defense. Georgia gave up the most points I've ever seen Georgia give up last week.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean,
right?
They almost lost that game.
They almost lost the game. Right? It happened. So what I'm trying to say is that I think the margin across the board, especially with NIL and the portal, they're closing the gap. Listen, Marshall beats Notre Dame. Marshall had 40 kids in the portal come in?
Yeah.
That wasn't a normal Marshall team. That wasn't normal Marshall. That was a different Marshall team. Now we should still be Marshall. I really believe that as Notre Dame, but they had different players, more athletes, right? They can spread the field, do better things. And so I believe you'll see, as we keep going with this portal NIL, you'll see many teams that were way above, the gap start to close a little bit because now, as they get better players, and now, I mean, how many people in the portal now? 10,000 people in the portal? I mean, it's pretty crazy.
It's right.
It was like 2,200. Yeah.
Right?
Not only you say that with Marshall, but obviously Dennis and I have talked on other shows. USC had
20 players.
Team.
20 players.
20 players. And they're just right in my backyard, right? 20 players, right? And so
yeah, exactly.
I just believe that the issue I have with it is that it's hurting high school kids. That's my issue. Right? Because high school kids that would have had Division I offers now don't have them. Now they have to go Division II or FCS or Division III, right? NAIA. And again, nothing wrong with that. But in a normal time frame, they would have had Division I offer. And that to me sucks, right? Because you have a little kid as dreaming to go to Notre Dame or dreaming to go to Stanford or wherever it be in this portal now. And because teams want to build right away.
Yep.
Right. I mean, listen, coaches don't have luxury anymore. We're in a rebuilding year. No, you're not. Or you're gonna be fired.
Yeah.
Even though you could be a young team, we don't care. We don't care about rebuilding anymore. Right? The portal's there. Find what you need. Start right away.
Yeah, I read an article last week when they were going about Buckner, and I forget who it was. I think it was on One Foot Down, but they were stating the argument was to keep Buckner and not take a transfer and let him develop. And it's like, we can't afford a development year anymore. It's like, he's going to have to develop watching Hartman and get on the field when we're either blowing teams out or, knock on wood, nothing
100%.
happens to Hartman. And we don't have, and not only that, but it's like, last I checked, it's Notre Dame, and we're like this close. We're a cute quarterback away, an elite quarterback away, not a game manager, from taking it over the hump. I really believe that.
Sure.
I just, I wish, I know when his press conference at signing day, Marcus coach was like, we don't have acquisition fees, but sometimes I wonder if maybe you should have a couple acquisition fees, because you might need them in years to come if we don't join a conference with the 12 teams looming, and then they're going to form this mega league, I think, and maybe possibly leave the NCAA. I worry where Notre Dame's future lies if that happens.
Sure. No, I'm with you. I think listen, it's been great to be independent for many years. I mean, listen, we can still pull it off, and why not, right? You have to share any of the revenue. But if it's going to hurt us at some point, we might need to look at jumping somewhere. Again, just so you also have that. Listen, Notre Dame, right? When you lose one game, we're pretty much done, right?
Right.
Because we're not in the conference, right? And if we are in conference and we lose a game and I still get the conference championship, we still have a chance.
Exactly.
Right. And so it's definitely tough. And I've always thought about this over the years, even when I was there, and of course, being removed for so long. Like, is it advantageous for us to be in a conference? Is it not? Does it make more sense for us? I go back and forth because I love the fact that we're independent, because with Notre Dame, we are special. We are different. I love that piece, right? But again, one loss to a Marshall.
Why? That's
you're
almost done. Like you said with that. And why wouldn't, we have to go undefeated to have a 4 seed in the 12 format now, 12 team format. And we still wouldn't, we'd still have to play the first week.
Correct.
We might have a playoff home game at Notre Dame in December or January. That's cool. But why not have a 1 through 4 seed and have a week off? Call me crazy, but
correct. No, you're exactly right. So I think there's so many things that, as we get going, administration, Jack, of course, Coach Freeman, have to figure out. But I think those are valid and very concerning points. Because listen, if we're trying to win a championship, that's the goal, right? What's our best chance of doing that? I hate to say it, but it could be in a conference.
It'd be in a conference, yeah.
Dennis and I both agree.
I've never wanted to say this in my life.
Me neither. Me neither.
Guess what?
Me neither.
Times change, and you might have to progress a little bit.
Time to suck it up and move into a conference, and then this way you get that extra game, the championship game. Once you get give them that opportunity for the players to get to that point as well.
It's huge.
Not just about the university; it's about the players as well. So they got
it's huge. It's huge. It's huge.
So we're going to take a quick break. And before the break, just so you know, I always do this game with Dennis called Name That Former Irish Player. So what I do is I give him some stats on a player, and then we go to break. And then when we come back, he reveals it. Hopefully he doesn't say who it is before we go to break, which he has done in the past.
I've only done it the first 2 shows, man. I've been good ever since.
Okay, but you did it, and it happened.
That's
so
too
I have
funny.
to bring it up.
He's always busting my stones about that.
I got to bust
That's
the
too
ball.
funny.
By the way, you are allowed to swear on the show if you ever feel like dropping an F-bomb.
Gotcha. I appreciate you.
Because Dennis and I have no problem doing it ourselves.
I hear that.
All right, so this is what we're going with today. This is your player, Dennis. Ready?
All right, I'm ready.
He's a running back. Played at Notre Dame from 1995 to 1998. Oh, he was his teammate. Total rushing attempts, 854. Total rushing yards for his career, 4,318. 5.1 average, 43 touchdowns. Receiving, 53 catches, 432 yards.
Come on, Dennis, think.
I know.
Think.
I know you know this one.
Come on, dog. You know it, man. Come on.
I'm going to have to ask. I know. I'm going to have to hear the stats again.
You need lifeline?
Take a breather.
Yeah, right. I told him next year, Corey, I said next year it's got to be multiple choice. So I don't look like a moron sometimes.
No, you've done some really good ones, but you always usually pick.
I missed by like.
Always say the name and then you pick somebody else, and then you're like,
That's too funny.
Yeah.
So we're gonna just take a quick little break. We'll be right back. We'll regroup, and then we'll get to talking about our favorite games on the season, and then what to expect from 2023. You guys ready? All right, we'll be right back. Stick right here. We are ND Nation Podcast. Dennis Stover, Evan J. Thomas, and our special guest, Cory Minor. Stay right here.
Yeah.
We Are ND Nation podcast, a new era of Irish football with your host, me, Evan J. Thomas, and my new co-host, Dennis Stover, as we will bring you special guests throughout the season. We will go deep with your Irish football coverage in a way that you haven't seen or heard before. Dennis and Evan are just two best friends, lifelong Irish fans, bringing you the best Notre Dame football coverage, analysis, and our opinions on a weekly basis. You can watch or listen to the We Are ND Nation podcast on YouTube every Friday during the season on wearenddnation.com. Follow us on the socials. We are ND Nation. Go Irish. All right, back here on the We Are ND Nation podcast, Evan J. Thomas, Dennis Stover, Kory Minor, our special guest today. And before the break, we got into doing this Name That Former ND Player. I know Dennis can nail this one.
I don't know. I'm drawing a blank. Anyway, let me hear the stats again.
So here's what I gave. He was a running back at Notre Dame from 1995 to 1998. The same exact years Kory was there.
Yes. Come on.
Think. Yeah, there's two guys I know.
Total rushing attempts, 854. Total rushing yards, 4,318. Average 5.1 yards per carry, 43 rushing touchdowns. Receiving 53 catches, 432 yards, 3 touchdowns. Dennis, name that guy.
Oh, man. You got me, I think, on this one. I honestly don't think I know. 95. Was it 2,000 yards, you said? Career?
4,018. He was a senior in 98.
Man, it's got to be. Is it Julius?
You want another help? You want another help? He was a coach recently, college coach recently.
Oh man, it was Autry Denson, wasn't it? Yeah. See, I knew. I was like Autry Denson, and I said, of course, I said the wrong name first. See, that's what's happened the last 3 times. Thank you for the lifeline. I should have dialed a friend.
Good.
That's why I like throwing out who was on the team when our guest was on. So that's the best.
Because there's so many. The one time he got me. Who was it? It was and it was he was the answer. I was pissed. Who was it?
Oh, it was Lee.
Yeah, Lee Beckton. That's right.
That's too funny.
Yeah, and Lee played in the '93 game and stuff.
Yeah, that's too funny.
Oh, you forget that. All right.
I know.
We're going to talk about what we're to expect from 2023. So we got a potential battle, which I don't know how it's going to be a battle.
Are you thinking a quarterback battle?
This is what I keep seeing.
No way. It's Hartman's job. No way. Why would they go through all of that?
I totally agree with you.
Question for you. Can Hartman run?
Yeah, actually, he had some good running yards good stats at Wake Forest. I mean, he's not. I would say he's maybe.
Hold on, I'm looking.
I don't know.
Right
he's
now.
like a good. He's like a better version of Ian Book.
All right, here we go. So this past year, rushing, he had 102 attempts for 129 yards.
Oh my!
What about his other years?
Oh my!
Over a body. Yeah, that's not very much at all.
Oh my!
The 2021 season, he had 363 yards. His yards per carry is 2.1. So
okay.
He ain't Buckner running or.
Buckner is not out of. He's not lightning fast. He's not lightning McQueen.
Yeah.
He can run in a straight line, but I'm telling you, when people pursue him on an angle, he gets beat to the angle. Watch the game.
Having that threat though as a runner though is huge, especially in college football today, right? Look at your top quarterbacks across the board. They all run fairly well, right? And again, also too, listen, let's not assume that it's not Buckner's job, because listen, Buckner was the starter and got hurt. We know what happened. Things happen in college football, right? So Buckner can be right back in there before
Hartman could get hurt.
Knows it, right? Hartman get hurt, right? So I think at the end of the day, it's going to be a healthy battle. And it probably is Hartman's job, but it's going to be a healthy battle. And listen, if you know you have a good solid 1 and a good solid 2 you feel good with, then you're okay with it, right? You're okay with it. Because here's my thing too is maybe you have the system where you have some packages for both, right? So Hartman's the starter, right? You have packages, right? Some running packages. So also now you got, as a defense, you got to plan for both, and that's not easy to do during the week every single week, right? And so listen, I think for us to have success, keeping teams off balance for us is a good thing. I think when Tom and Reese does a good job of doing that, we have success. Right? When we go real fast a little bit, we slow it down, right? Real fast a little bit, slow it down, right? We spread them out wide and go in tight. Those type of things, I mean, for us at Notre Dame, at least what I've seen, we've had success with. And so if they decide, hey, listen, let's do a package with both. We have our starter, but we'll have a package, 10, 12 plays a game for Buckner to come in, right? Maybe it's the option, right? Maybe it's the RPO, whatever it may be. But at least you get defenses like, okay, we got a plan for this guy here who can throw it all over the yard, and this guy here who can throw the ball as well, but he also can run. So now you're making coaches prepare for you differently every single week, and it's not easy to do.
Well, he's never had a guy to be able to push the ball downfield either.
Correct.
And Hartman can definitely push the ball downfield. Correct. And he's got some. I mean, we have the receiver problem. Chauncey Stuckey really, holy moly, did he do a great job calling in some receivers that should play right away. I think, we already had some good receivers on the roster as it is, but Pine couldn't get the ball to anybody if he wasn't in, and no, Pine did great. He went 8-2.
I see Evan.
But boy, oh boy, he I don't know. I'm so sick of these runt game managers. I want Trevor Lawrence for cry eye. We used to get these guys.
Well,
where are they?
Here's my question, and I asked this a couple weeks ago. No, I'm sorry. I asked this during the whole season. How come from Kelly and from Reese, how come we didn't have a 4 or 5 star QB on our roster already anyway?
Who knows?
I can understand
right. I don't know.
I never understand why we didn't have that in the first place.
I would love to know.
We didn't have a 5-star from at all during Kelly's tenure, did we?
Gunnar Keel.
Oh.
And look how he utilized him. He should have been playing him right away. I don't know why Kelly was always opposed to playing freshmen. It's like, look what all the other coaches are doing. Well, you think Nick Saban minded playing a freshman? I mean, it's like, come on now. Like, if they're giving this, like, I think Deshaun Kaiser was Kelly's best quarterback.
Okay.
I mean, my opinion,
I can see that.
When he got the ball, he could play, man. He could make any pass. He could run.
I can see that.
It was bananas. So
I can see that.
There shouldn't have been a real competition. Malik was great, but again, Kaiser should have started that whole, 2016 debacle, that Texas game, going back and forth.
And now
I think we finally might have a guy. And then we have Kenny Minche.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's why I said Marcus should use the acquisition fee, because we may never get a 5-star quarterback if we. That's what it has to. If it comes to that now and it's legal, then let's go, boosters. Open up that book, checkbook. Yeah,
I was gonna say, now that with the transfer portal and everything, do you think that Marcus Freeman is doing it right for the team? Because obviously, I just noted here Thomas Harper, they just pulled in from Oklahoma State. The safety,
that was nice.
Got him, and I mean, and Dennis and I said it earlier in the show, or in one of the earlier shows that we did, that they didn't do it last year for a quarterback, and they kind of got hammered for it.
Yeah. I think, listen, Notre Dame is Notre Dame, right? And so Notre Dame's principles are always going to stand behind academics, and so that's why the high school kids, them is always going to be appealing first, right? Because they know they can look at the core curriculum of high school and say, did this person meet what we need to be a student athlete, first tier for anything, right? As you know, a lot of the times in the portal, people's credits don't connect over, right? So they can be in the portal and their class that they had don't register over for Notre Dame or any other schools, so they stay in the portal. They can't go anywhere, right? So Notre Dame was never going to be like Notre Dame would never do an SC or Marshall where you take 20 kids in the portal. It's not going to ever happen.
Oh,
right?
I hope not.
Me either. I don't want to. Right. They're going to find onesie, Tuesdays, and threesies who can help them win today right away, have success right away, and I'm okay with that. I like the high school athlete. That's where I came from. Like, I like that experience of being a young kid, right? Being a freshman in high school, having a poster of Michigan on the wall. Like, man, I want to go to Michigan. That's my school. Like, I like that idea of that, right? And because I was that kid from Notre Dame. And so to me, the portal, even though I understand it, I'm just not a fan of it, because I really believe you stopped a kid who had that dream, that goal and desire, number one. And because now you're looking at kids going for 1 and 2 years, where I like that 4-year scope or 5-year scope to graduate school, right? I enjoy that. So I like Notre Dame, the fact that we probably won't dip in as much, but grab a safety, grab a corner, right? Grab a QB, grab a linebacker, grab what we need for the immediate need, and let's continue to kind of funnel the rest of the team through the high school recruiting part. I love that piece.
Well, hopefully we still might be able to offer these because early on in the process of recruit, I mean, Freeman we had 4 or 5 stars committed at one time, and we couldn't land a single one. I mean, we even had Dante Moore. I don't know how we lost him, but anyway, that's another story for another show.
You know why you lost them. You just said a minute ago, the pocketbooks, right? You know why you lost them, right? Notre Dame has morals and values, and I'm okay with that, right?
Absolutely,
I really am. And so if we lose a kid because Michigan State offered him $100,000 and we're not going to, hey man, go get your $100,000 if you think we'll find somebody else. Here's what
that's fair. But when does it become maybe we don't start finding them?
You're exactly right. So here's my struggle. To your point, my struggle is if we want to say every year we want to compete for national championship, but you're not doing what the big schools are doing at national championship, can you really say you can be in that realm? Right. Listen, Alabama and Georgia have set the precedent to do some things out the board, right? Off board, out of board, whatever you want to call it, right? So if we're not that, we're not going to be there. We're not going to do that. Is it fair to say we should win national championship?
Right. No, we never will. I mean,
you know what I'm saying? And then I'm okay with not being Georgia and Alabama. I'm okay with that. We got to build how we build, right? So if that being the case, us going 10-2 and going to a New Year's Day bowl, is that a bad thing? When we
absolutely not.
We kept our morals and values. I'm asking. This is what I debate back and forth in my head. Like, maybe we should do that. No, we shouldn't. Maybe we should. No, we shouldn't. I go back and forth with this debate, right? Because I don't know, because I love who we are. Integrity, right? Class act. We do things the right way. I'm cool with that. But we're also saying we got to win championship. Well, SC got 21 kids in the portal. We're not doing that.
Right.
So can we really match up? Because those portal kids can play right away mostly. Every freshman can play right away.
Right.
Right. I was a number one recruiting class in Notre Dame. Right. I think myself, I was the only freshman that started all 4 in the first year. Right. And after he came on and played well, then he started. Right. So you're talking about, I think that year they took 17 kids my year as a freshman, 2 played as a freshman. Wow. Whereas a portal kids, they acclimated, they understand it, they come right away. And so that's why SC took 2021. So that's my debate, Dennis and Evan. I just don't understand. I don't know. Should we be doing that? Should we not? I move on. I move on. Should we? Should not? Because I love our ethics and all that. But if we're talking about national championships, can we really win one if we're not doing that?
True.
Right. I think we got to find a balance, a median, the middle road, because it's easy to take, we'll never be and I don't want to be Georgia and Bama or the University of Spoiled Children. I don't never be the University of Spoiled Children. With that being said, there is going to have to be a little, maybe that'll be like joining a conference will help, those things. Or if we join the Super League, that happens. It's just college football is going to change. Definitely a different game from when the layout and the makeup of it. Do you see that happening where the SEC and the Big Ten and maybe like one other conference would form this like 50 leagues semi-pro?
When there's money involved, anything is possible.
Yeah,
about that'd be big. That'd be big revenue.
Huge.
Right? And listen, you got kids now that are making more money than some of the coaches, right?
Wow,
so that'd be big revenue, right? And so at the end of the day, listen, I think if you thought SC was crazy, watch what Deion does.
Oh yeah, he's already
watch what Deion does right now.
Yeah,
oh
you're right.
My goodness.
Yep,
exactly. You're right.
Like
forgot about that.
Like everybody's calling Deion to come there. It's not like he doesn't call anybody. Prime. I want to come. I want to come. Like think about when I'm a business owner. If you own a company, would you rather have to go out and get the sales, or people just call you?
Call me.
Right?
Yeah.
So I think the landscape is going to change significantly of college football. Super League, right? Combining leagues, NFL Part 2, right?
Right.
Whatever it may be. Whenever there's money involved and dollars involved, it's going to be scale for sure.
That's awesome. All right, we are back here on the We Are ND Nation podcast. Dennis Stover, Evan J. Thomas, Kory Minor. We had to take a little quick break because we were out of time on my stupid Zoom, so we have to do it again. So we have one little segment left. So we kind of talked about the portal, the NIL, the conferences. Let's talk about our favorite games from this past season. There's a bunch of them that are really good, and obviously there were some duds and So I don't know who wants to actually, you know what? I'll go first on my top.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay, let's go. Let's hear it. Let's hear it.
Let's hear it. Three.
The host is first.
So my number 3 game was the last one I was at, the Boston College game.
Okay.
4-0. And the reason why it was amazing to be there, not only did they shut them out, but they shut down Boston College the entire game. So Boston College had no answer on offense, no answer on defense. Notre Dame just put it on them. And not only that, but you had the snow globe come over the side of the stadium there. And it was a lot of fun, even though it was the coldest game of the year. And I think tied a record for the coldest game of all time at Notre Dame. So that was fun.
Yeah, it was cold.
That's my number 3 game. Number 2, the Gator Bowl versus South Carolina. That's obviously my second favorite because watching that game, just seeing Buckner playing like he did. And I like how they were saying, okay, I'm not going to say I like, but the announcers were saying how South Carolina was missing some of their best players.
Yeah.
Wait.
They were missing a lot. They were missing like 11 cats, though, to R2.
Yes, but they never mentioned that Mayer and Foskey and starting quarterback had left and everything like that. They might have mentioned it once, but it wasn't like they did before.
Those announcers were terrible.
They were. I do have to say that. Number 1 game, and you guys probably might have this as your number 1, Clemson. That Clemson game was fucking amazing. Just watching them just put it on.
Yeah.
Dabo and DJ.
Yeah.
And actually, DJ didn't even play that game, did he? Yeah, he did.
No, it was DJ played the whole game, and then they put in Klubnik, and Klubnik threw his first pass. Benjamin Morrison picked him, and then they took him out, and they put DJ back
right. It was
in.
one,
Yeah.
0 for 1 with 1 interception. How great is that?
Yeah.
So they're my
How special
top
is that kid, though? Ben Morrison. Jeez.
6 interceptions on the season. Holy cow.
Yeah, it's nice.
And 3 of them at the BC game. So there you go.
Yeah.
That was amazing. So those are my top 3: BC, Gator Bowl versus South Carolina, and Clemson. Dennis, you want to go next?
Sure. I would say probably the third would be the Gator Bowl. I was really worried. I mean, we were down 21-7, so it was really nice to see him come back. It was nice to see Buckner. He played well. They made a lot of great throws, and he missed a couple. I'm glad they stuck with the run, and it was nice just to beat the SEC team. Number 2 would probably be the Clemson game. It was like a total domination. I mean, those were garbage points at the end for them. That game, to me, I felt that was their most complete game of the season, even though they shut out Boston College. But, beating up on Fredo is not that, is not that hard. Number 1 for me is Marcus Freeman's first victory at Notre Dame, the Cal game. Marcus finally got a win as a head coach.
Yeah.
Almost lost that game.
I was there too.
That
was awesome.
And I was stressed like oh man.
I couldn't even watch the last play. I told you.
Yeah, I was losing my mind, and then plus we just lost Buckner. So remember, I was pushing the panic button. I was like, that season's over. We'll be lucky if we win 6 games. I was like, this is not gonna. And so I was really happy to see Marcus get a win because honestly, you think about this guy, he was killing Oklahoma State. We were beating Ohio State for 3 quarters, and Marshall game is whatever. But I'm just glad that he got it. So that would be, I think, the best because I really want Marcus to succeed more than I think any coach we've had since Holtz. I would have liked to see Ty. I would have liked to see Ty get his full 5 years though, but that's another story.
Don't get me started.
That's one we have to have, Corey. That's a good conversation, right?
I was going to say, Dennis and I are going to be doing another podcast just on sports games ourselves. Maybe we should bring you on for something like that. Just kind of
let me know. I'd love to come on.
Have some
fun. Great.
I think if I can interject, we gave Davey a little bit too long and not Ty long enough.
Thank you. because Ty, look what he was doing with all those were Davies
Correct.
players, and then
Correct.
they gave 3 years, and then Weiss, those were all Willingham's players.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So
Brady
so
was-
I'm gonna be a little different with the games. I think
Great.
number 3 was a little Clemson for me. I'll take Clemson at number 3. Anytime, I'm not a big Dabo Sweeney fan, so to beat him, I'm totally fine with that. My Gator Bowl was number 1. Actually, I just love to see how far we come and saw how we finished. Right,
Yeah.
that was my biggest thing, how we finished. And my number 1 though would probably be, even though we lost, OSU and USC. OSU, because I really felt that like the product we put on the field game 1 was pretty darn good product. Like how we played against OSU was we played pretty darn good football. It was good to see. And I know there was their game 1. It was our game 1, but I liked how we played them in the Horseshoe. It was not easy to play. I played there, right? I enjoyed that. Even though we lost, I did like how we competed, how we fought. And USC at the beginning, we played very well, played them tough for a little bit, thought we were pretty physical with them, right? Made some plays. Then of course they broke it open for us. But I'm a LA guy, so that's always when that game is here. I always love that. But listen, I was proud of Coach Freeman. I was proud of the fact how he kept his men together. Number 1, I was proud how he kept talking about what the focus is and what the goal is. It didn't waver, right? Loss, win big, lost big. It didn't waver, right? This is the focus. This is where we're going, and either get on the ship or don't, right? But we're going this way, and so that was fun to see. And what I really enjoyed most, I think he had some really good senior leadership, and that's always big for a team, right? Again, me being a coach the last 6 years down in Orange County, right? Senior leadership is really important because they are the glue. They are the models of what it should look like. And if you're underclassmen don't have a model to look at, it can be a daunting experience for a whole season. And so I felt really good about how the seniors, matured and grew and kept the young men together, up and down. And so, listen, I'm happy for Marcus. I met him last summer. We had a good time with him. Spent some quality time together at one of his. I was back for one of the camps. So I have a company called Red Zone, where I help kids get seen by colleges. So I do all the outreach for them.
Oh, nice.
And so I was back. I took a couple of my quarterbacks back down there, and so that's when I met them. This is probably 2 summers ago. I met Marcus and last summer, excuse me. I met Marcus, and then so it was fun. So I know him fairly well. It's funny because before it was announced, I emailed and said, "Hey, you got the job." I didn't know that.
Wow.
I just felt it. He probably even know. If you look back at my email, I said it before anybody else ever said it. I just had a feeling it was going to be him.
Did he reply before?
No, he did not.
No.
So I'm done. That's why I don't like him anymore. I'm done with him. He didn't reply back. I'm not a fan. No, I'm just kidding. So I reached out because I just had a feeling it was going to be him, and I'm glad it was. I'm rooting for him. I wish him the best. It's not easy being Notre Dame head coach. I think when I was playing, the coach said that within the top 3 jobs in the world, the toughest were president, air traffic controller, and Notre Dame head coach.
Notre Dame head coach.
At the top 3, right? And so it's no different. The demands that are on a Notre Dame head coach. Lou Holtz would always say, Lou Holtz one day he had to sign 1,000 balls before practice, before he came out. Like that's not like anywhere else.
The school made him do that?
I'm not sure if it was a school, it was an alumni booster, but he had to sign 1,000 balls before practice.
Hopefully he got paid for it. So
Yeah, me too. So what I'm saying is that the Notre Dame head coach has so many pieces, right? It's not just coaching, right? You're making what's foundation, different type of nonprofits that Notre Dame's involved in. They want you. It's so much, and so I'm proud of him. I'm rooting for him. I wish him the best. I wish his staff the best, and of course, listen, I bleed Notre Dame, man. I do. So when we lose games, I have a rough weekend too. It's hard.
Man, oh man, I shut down. It's a bad week. It's a bad day at work too. If I'm working that day and they lost, it's like
I will say this though, Foskey put me in 3rd place.
Really?
Yeah. So I was number 1. Justin Tuck beat me. And now Foskey came, and now I'm number 3. So I'm number 3 all time in sacks and number 2 all time in tackles for loss.
And he's a California kid too.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
Yeah. Remember his freshman year, he blocked that punt at Stanford, and that was like his coming out party. Oh man, I'm gonna miss that kid.
Yeah.
You were talking about former Notre Dame coaches. I want to know your perspective on. We don't like to bring this name up anymore, but BK.
Okay.
We want to know what your feeling was when he left and did what he did to just the fan base in the Notre Dame.
Yeah, I didn't have a problem with him leaving, right? You offer somebody $9 million, $10 million, you got to go, right? It's the same thing with Deion Sanders, right? At Jackson State, right? Listen, he came there, he changed it up, made things happen, but he's making $300,000 to now $5.5 million. You got to go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like that's a no-brainer. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Do you think he should have held out for a different school in Colorado?
I don't know. Why?
Right.
I mean, when you have his name and you have his presence, people are calling him.
That was my
next question. It'd have been the same thing anywhere, right?
He's got so much gravitas, like you said earlier. People are going to him.
Yeah. People coming to him, and so for sure. So I don't have a problem with BK of leaving. It was just the way he did it.
Correct.
In my opinion, was right. Same way with Nick Saban, right? When he left Miami in private jet in the middle of the night, right? The Miami Dolphins, right? Like, come on, have some class and do it right, right?
Throw another name in there, Petrino. With the Falcons.
Yeah, he did that
with the Falcons.
When he left the Falcons,
same way,
and did that.
Same way. And my thing is, listen, if you want these men and NFL men, college these men to respect you and treat you right and trust you and play for you, then you own those conversations. Whether you stay or not, you own those conversations.
I think so,
right? Yeah. And so I think it's important, right? And so at the end of the day, you know, listen, I have no problem. Go get your money, man. Listen, life is short. $9 million, $10 million, go do your thing. But you were there for what, 11 years? How long is it? 11, 10, 12 years at Notre Dame. And that's a long time. That's a long tenure.
Yeah.
And so, in my opinion, that's just the way you do things at that
point. There's one more year than Holtz, I believe.
Correct.
Yeah.
Holtz,
11.
Yeah. So, listen, I think Notre Dame is definitely in the right direction. I think with the right recruits and continue to set the bar of what's important. But let's by no means. Let me. What makes me the most happy and most proud about is our academics. Right, we're top 3, top 5 every year in graduation rate. That's what I care about. Right. So at the end of the day, every kid on that team is not going to play pro football, but that diploma you have, right, is not a 4 year. It's a 40-year decision. Right. So when you set yourself up for life in the future, right. And so at the end of the day, like that to me is probably, I graduated in 3.5 years. That was my like, people like, what's your famous compliment? Yeah, I'm on the Hall of Fame. I'm in records, but 3.5 years I graduated because I busted my butt, and it was hard as.
Yeah, I could imagine.
It was tough.
I'll say it for you.
I remember my first year I was in calculus, and the teacher asked a question. I don't even know what he said. And I remember going home like, Mom, it's gonna be a long 4 years, Mom. I'm gonna make it. She's like, no, son, you can do it. Keep going. I was like, Mom, I want motivation right now. It's not working. I don't need that right now, Mom. Come back and come home.
Right.
You know, she's like, no, you can't come home. Stay your butt there.
All right. Good job, Mom.
Good job, Mom. But that to me, the academics piece of it that we miss a lot on these shows because it's a sports show. That to me is most important. Because you and I both know every man.
We do forget they're supposed to be student athletes.
They're student athletes, right?
Across the board, not just at Notre Dame.
We do forget that, right? Oh, he missed that dang tackle. He sucks, or he missed that field goal.
Right. And they're just kidding you, right?
He also got an F in his test. He also got an F in his test too, and he's still trying to figure that out too.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so let's have some perspective. Let's have some gratitude. Remember, these kids are 17, 18, 19, 20, 21 years old. You know, when they come out of high school in that 4-year span, they're still young men, still trying to learn life, right?
Or you're Stetson Bennett, you're 25.
Or you go to BYU and you go on
you're
mission
36.
and you come back and you're like
or
28.
You're Sam Hartman and
you're married and have 5 kids.
Yeah, exactly. And so to me, that's the biggest piece, guys. That piece of the academics is what I care about even more so just than athletics. That's huge.
Right.
All right, and I got to go back to the bowl season too. How beautiful was it to see Michigan and Ohio State and USC all?
It was the greatest bowl season in a long time for me. I was so
you lose
happy.
also.
Yeah.
No, LSU destroyed.
They destroyed Purdue. They killed them. It was awful.
That's right.
LSU's going to come in like a top preseason hell, they could be in the top 5 next year.
Those 3 games, just seeing them lose. Unfortunately, I missed the USC game. Dennis told me when they lost.
Oh, I was losing. It was great.
Dude, that was a great game.
That one, Yeah, because
That was a great
I tell you,
game.
I really loathe, and I will say I used to for a little bit. I kind of respect USC, but I just don't.
That was
And
a
I
great
kind of
game.
love that they have. Although I was really upset, and I called it the game before. I said, please, for whatever Notre Dame, do not let Caleb Williams have a Carson Palmer moment, and they did. And
Yeah.
damn it! So I can't wait for
Yeah.
him to come to South Bend next year, and I want that kid to get rocked.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that one.
No
I'm going
injury or anything, but I
no,
want
for
to see
sure.
him
No, I get
lose.
you. I'm going for TCU tonight.
Yeah, TCU.
Yeah, yeah,
See,
that's what I want to
you
win.
were saying before
Yeah.
you jump back on that,
Yeah.
I'm expecting Georgia to win, but if TCU wins, I have
Yeah.
no issues with it, and I would
Yeah,
love to
yeah,
see the
yeah,
underdog win.
yeah. No, I'm with you on that one. I think for me, I'm kind of over the whole SEC narrative.
Ugh.
Like I'm just over it. Like, listen, I know Georgia has not won as many games as Alabama has, and I get all that championship wise. I'm just over that whole dominance. Because listen,
Yeah.
as a again, as we talk about academics, I know a lot of kids who in the SEC, my years, who was not important, right? They were going there to go from there to the league, right? And so I think I just have a problem with that. I just do. I do because there's so many kids who are not going to the league, and if they don't get the degree to get the diploma, well, they have to show for it. That bothers me. That's my biggest pet peeve, right? And so I know many kids from the SEC who didn't get the degree, right, and didn't go to the league, right? And so for me,
Wow.
that doesn't sit well with me. And so, listen, Georgia, I like Kirby Smart. I think he's a hell of a program. I mean, listen, in the day, they're top dogs, but I just have a hard time when I hear of kids not going to school, taking school seriously, because
Well,
I
can I?
understand. Yeah, talk to me.
Sorry, Corey, I'm not trying to interrupt you or
No,
anything
you're
like
fine. No,
that.
you're good.
But it's like I get on like a good point, and I want to pick your brain.
Yeah.
Don't you think like these colleges like I used to always think that it was enough to get like, oh, they're getting paid by getting a scholarship and stuff. But then it's like they're not, because you look at how much money is generated. And I kind of hate ESPN for the fact of ruining like the regional loveliness of what college football once was. Like, it was a regional game. It was beautiful. Bowl season it was fucking glorious. And the exploitation of these young men is kind of BS. So I'm like, pay these kids, because the money these schools are making now. I mean,
100%.
the Big Ten deal is going to be, each school is going to make 90 million.
Mm-hmm.
Each school, not just the conference, each school. That's bananas.
And that's just on a TV deal.
Right. So it's just say what it is, call it the semi-pro league, and let's take care of these young men, because how long is the average NFL playing career now? A lot less than it was.
A lot less. Yeah. It's you're right. You make a great point. Because I think at the end of the day, it has become bigger than amateur sports.
Yep.
Right. It's bigger than that now, right? And the NIL set that precedent. And so I think what we have to do, though, is have to remind these kids that the academics still have to be. Listen, I don't care how much money you get going to Clemson or Tennessee, or if you can't manage your money, what does it matter?
Right. Exactly.
So those have to be important. So I hope there's provisions in place. I hope these schools I hope Notre Dame is doing it too, taking time to have these kids have some money management time, or having Wall Street come in and talk to these kids about what to do with their money, how to save it, or how to invest it, whatever it may be. Because if you don't know, you don't know. And that's a problem, because especially when you come into, listen, some of these kids that are down south, and not just down south, but across the board, but down south in particular, they come from some rough backgrounds, right? And so all of a sudden you come to a school and you get $100,000, you get $2 million. How do you know what to do with that? Right.
And so you're gonna have family and friends and everybody you up. You might get jumped or something. I mean, it's a scary situation, like you said. High school kids coming into college with all this money, not knowing what the hell to do with it. And you see what's on.
I'm 47. I still don't know what to do with it.
You and me both.
You see all these people on Instagram with all the money and everything, and it's like,
for sure.
They want to be like that, but then they get caught up in the monotony of that situation. Or that
well, it's also take a step back too. And if everybody should realize what happened in 2020, the world stopped, and all the luxury that people are afforded. And my point is like, I'm a chef for a living, and athletes and stuff. So it's like, it's it's a job that's not necessarily a necessity in life in the bigger picture of things. And so 2020, you had this pandemic, and then it just put perspective on like, maybe there's other things more important than a game and stuff. And like, this is backing up your point of education and
no,
the game might not always be there, and there's
might not always be there.
10,000, however many kids in Division I alone, and only 300 get drafted.
Yeah.
What do those other 8,000 kids do?
Exactly right. Exactly right.
Crazy. It's a crazy situation.
Yes, sir.
Wow, has it been awesome having you on, man?
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. Thank you so much, man. My pleasure. Thank you.
My
pleasure. Anytime.
And thank you for the memories and watching you hit people.
Thank you.
Blow up skunk bears. I'm telling you, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Well, listen, I appreciate you both, Evan, Dennis. Love the show. Love what you're doing. If you need me anytime, man, reach out. I'd love to be on. But I appreciate you taking time to have me on. It means the world to me, man. Thanks so much.
So
we appreciate you coming on.
Any of your companies, any of your websites, any of your
so you can find me at Instagram is at KMinor4, Facebook Kory Minor, KRY Minor R, my company KoryMinorTraining.com. I'm around, man. Reach out, say hello, love to connect with you guys. You know what's funny is I still to this day, and listen, every time I get it, I'm just in awe. I still get letters in the mail for autographs to this day. Like literally, like at least 3 or 4 a month, 5 a month. Literally, I think I'm so humbled. I'm so appreciative. I'm so thankful that someone still wants to have me sign some, 20 plus years later. So I have never. I gave this game all I had. Notre Dame. I'm talking Notre Dame. Gave this game all I had, and I always owed it to the fans and the student body and the community. They made me who I am, and I'll never forget that. I'm thankful for that, and so it's an honor to be on you guys. So thank you again.
Thank you.
I do have to say, now that you said that, Chris Zorich was one of our guests this year. He sent me a handwritten thank you note.
Yeah.
Being on the show.
Yeah.
Oh man.
So fucking cool to get that.
Yeah.
Who sends thank you notes anymore?
Man.
No, you're exactly
Dennis
right.
saw that and he was like, oh,
No, that's really cool. So I need your address now. Now I got to one up them.
There you go.
Now. So make sure you
text
me your address. Text me your address in the message. So I got to one up Chris Zorich now. So next time you have a show, you mention my stuff.
That's
right. Hell yeah.
I love it.
And just so you know, you will never find Dennis on social media because
I'm not on any social.
No, sorry, Dennis. So you're a chef?
I am, sir. Yes.
So why are you not on social though? Showing your stuff so you can get more gigs.
You see, God, you are absolutely right.
I'm a brand guy, man. So
you are absolutely right. I've done it before through the restaurant, but it was like chef at so and so restaurant. I just don't want to have any like attached like Dennis Stover.
You can put an assumed name.
Yeah, you know why is because, and he'll tell you this. What did I say in like 1999 and 2000 when Facebook was starting to surface? I was like, we as people will not be able to handle this. I'm telling you right now. And look how awful Facebook is. So, but we're talking about football.
Not that awful.
I would say this though. I'll say this. Listen, the more money you have, the more lives you can change. Right? The more money you have, the more things you can do to benefit others. Right? So don't ever sell yourself short. Right? So if you're making $200,000 now, why you can't make $400,000? Because the more money you have, the more lives you can change. So I would say this: like every single week, just do it. If you don't want to be on there every day, just do a meal a week. Hey, it's Dennis's meal for the week, and make something to show how you do it, show the ingredients, and just do that. Pump that out. At least two things. Number one, people know what you do. Number two, people see what you do. Number three, somebody says, "Hey, I want to hire this guy to be a chef for me."
Yeah,
there you go.
You are absolutely right.
That's
I
love this. And maybe you're going to be my life coach.
I got anytime. That's what I do for a living.
I love it.
I love to help. I just know, listen, if you're because in the NFL we have a slogan: you're either growing or you're decreasing. You never stay the same. So if you're not expanding,
I saw your post on that.
Then you're not growing, right? If you're not growing, if you're not growing, how can you be the best version of Dennis? How can you be the best version of Dennis if you're not growing? So listen, I get and the reason why I say it because
you're right. No, you hit it on the head.
I came on social years ago and I was like, here's my thing. I was like, no, my ex-girlfriend come on there, my wife see it, and I get in trouble. Like that was I was stupid, right? But you realize that it's free marketing.
Yeah.
It's free advertisement. Right? And you can also paid 20, 30 bucks or more and have a post that you like get seen by the masses. I just think that at the end of the day, you can do a whole lot more.
Yeah.
And by you doing a whole lot more, you can change more lives. By you changing more lives, you can be more fulfilled. If you be more fulfilled, you live more God-like. That's all I'm saying.
I think that's what maybe that's what I needed to hear, actually. I thank you so. You're
No worries.
the best. Thank you so much.
No worries,
That's really,
brother. No worries,
I'm taking your words to heart. I
All
really
right. All right. Well, I look forward to it. Thanks, guys. Whatever you need, I'm
Cory,
here.
you're amazing.
Thank you, Cory. You are an
guys.
amazing
Appreciate you
human
guys.
being. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. God bless you all. Enjoy the 2023. And whenever you need me, just reach out.
And
Yes, sir.
before
Thank
we go,
you.
I just want to say, make sure that everybody who's watching the show checks us out on weareNDNation.com. We Are
Yes,
ND
sir.
Nation on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. I have all that up there, even though Dennis has never seen
Love
it.
it.
And we're
Love
on
it.
YouTube, which is where I put everything. We are
Nice.
ND
Will you send me a link when everything's out up and ready?
I
You send
will
me a link or
have it
something?
up.
Let me
Oh,
know.
It'll
yeah.
be up
Okay.
later this week for sure. But yes,
Sounds good, sir. Thanks, guys. God
Cory,
bless you all.
have a great day. Everybody
You guys
else,
too.
rock on.
Go Irish.
Go Irish.
Go Irish. And fuck Michigan.
That's true.